he had me clean the floors and the toilets and shit like every American studio would. But very quickly he let me also produce for artists on the label and like sit in sessions and be like, yo, be the fly on the wall and tell me tomorrow how it was, right? Hi, my name is Pim and I make music as Sebastian Kamae and Kamae. I didn't necessarily have that stereotypical example of my family influencing me to become a musician, but my parents were always like mad supportive. I think they saw that I enjoyed music or had that spark when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and they were just like, "What, you want to do music lessons or do you want to do something with this?" And I was like, "Yes." So at the age of 5, that's when I started, and it was just like singing, clapping, reading notes, and I think by the age of 8, I could read sheet music, and it was like, then you could go through the whole building, I think, and pick an instrument. I still love that concept. It was like they teach kids, and then at some point you're like ready to pick your instrument. And my uncle and cousin always played piano, so for me, I didn't really even walk through that building with other options in my mind. I already knew, like, the piano was gonna be it for me. I think by the age of 14 or something, started playing in bands with friends and stuff, and that's when I discovered production and engineering and recording. I always wanted to study piano. I was like, this is way wider. I can do piano, but I can do producing and arranging and everything. But then I was also playing in the rock bands and completely other stuff. So I've always been influenced by a lot of genres. I think right now I'm blending mostly soul, hip hop, R&B, jazz, and electronic music into one cocktail. A lot of my sound revolves around the keys. There's always an element where you can, I think people tell me, like, I can recognize this is you because of that little keys part, or I think a lot of it has a warmth to it as well. And yeah, so Sebastian Kamae, for example, has been a project that I've been developing since I was 17. It has a very distinguished sound, like dusty drums, lush keys, and chill sounds, and it's all like a warm bath, basically. And Kamae is the artist profile I'm focused on right now, is more so danceable and still has that same soulful, warm feel, but it's like the evolvement of it, like where Sebastian is like chill and like in the background, hanging out with your friends. Kamae is more so on the foreground. It's like, who is this? What song is this? And then the other one is alter ego is called Intoku, which I'm completely anonymous on. Like, I've never publicly been telling people, hey, look at my new track as Intoku. It's just been like, I like that anonymous part of it. That's like the BPM that's just lower. Everything is slow. It's like almost ambient music with drums. So it's different realms almost. And I felt like I was in a taxi in Indonesia, and I was playing my music for the taxi driver, and it was on shuffle. And I heard so many different sounds and things. And I already had a conversation with someone a month before about branding. And I realized it was kind of all over the place. So then I decided, like, okay, Intoku is gonna have this branding: slow, down tempo, chill. Sebastian Kamae is gonna be my instrumental producer project, where I produce for other people, but also release my own instrumental music, and it's jazzy, it's fun, it's chill. And then I want to start my own artist profile called Kamae. I want to start doing live shows, DJ. It needs to be a mix of all my background, but then also a new wave of new influences in electronic music. So that's kind of the staples of where my music is living right now. So when I started studying, they already advertised, whereas like people in the 4th year of the study, people go do internship all around the world. So I already knew that's what I want to do. I don't want to do it in the Netherlands. I want to see the world and do stuff in other places. And because I was such a fan of Chicago hip hop sound, like Chance the Rapper, Saba, Mick Jenkins, Reverend Lene, all these artists coming from there, that wave, Smino and stuff. And I was super tapped into that already. So I kind of knew where everyone was recording at, and like just from internet. And I think I emailed a letter and an email over to like 150 studios, like an insane amount in LA, London, Chicago, like all the cities that are really like appeal to me. And then Chicago was probably top of my list. Had interviews there, did an apprenticeship there. It was basically like an unpaid internship for 3 months. After that, came back, graduated, did that album, and then just kept coming back because that relationship that I built there with the owner of that studio, and he was also the co-founder of a record label, was beginning of a special friendship. Like he had me clean the floors and the toilets and shit like every American studio would, but very quickly he let me also produce for artists on the label and like sit in sessions and be like, yo, be the fly on the wall and tell me tomorrow how it was, right? And then I would give him information on like, yeah, this you have to sign this guy, he's amazing. And very quickly became part of that little ecosystem. And then because I was there, I think 70 hours a week, like literally living in that studio for 3 months. Everyone got used to me. They're all like, this guy, great to have around. If something is wrong, he'll fix it, and he can kind of be the fly on the wall. So that was the internship part, and that's one, like my love for the US was already there, but now I really felt like what I always missed in the Netherlands was being able to work with rappers or singers that were actually living what they're talking about and also sound authentic. Like a lot of people in the Netherlands that try to rap in English, you can still hear they're competing with US artists and it's not the same. So being there is like unknown guys there or unknown artists that are amazing. I'm like, oh, this is perfect for me because I can build with you guys and like tap into all those vibes. Then years later, that studio got sold and the owner moved to California. Because I also did so many projects and sessions in Chicago, I kind of felt like for now I had seen what needed to be seen there. For me, it was a perfect move to start going to LA, start going to San Francisco and like California and do more stuff there. So that's been the US journey so far. And I think the dream would be to have a base here and there, you know, where I could just go back and forth. And I think the network and opportunities there are insane. So.
Never run up, but come up. I know a runner, but he under the impression that llamas don't spit a wonder every summer. I need a hunter, that wow, invest in odds. So when
I was thinking before this interview was like, what the first meeting was, or the first time talking to someone from downtown. I think it was Rod Linham emailing me that he loved my music, and he found it out through, like we talked about, this community here with all these other artists. So I think he found it through Glimlip, I think. But he just emailed me, told me he loved my music, and I already knew about him from my friends, so it wasn't like a complete out of the blue thing. And then I think we had a call, and that's when we started working together, super chill, like non-exclusively, you know. That was the first meeting, and it was weird to me at first that he's like a super old guy, tapped into a scene that is like completely run by super young people. But it's awesome, like he actually has passion for that music, and he is basically like an A&R finding all these people that are doing it and connecting them with each other. I think he really got something there. Or like at some point, maybe even downtown realized like Rod really got something here. This is like a whole wave of music that is really streaming extremely well, has the potential to grow bigger and bigger over time, but also that is a community and has just like super nice, friendly people, not hard to work with. Everyone is responsive, and you know, so that was my experience the first time. And I just slowly graduated to a friendship as well, and I hang out with him in LA a bunch of times. And it's like, okay, now I feel like I don't want like 100 distributors to work with. That's just a pain in the ass. Then I gotta collect revenue from every one of these. So I work more and more with Downtown. At some point I felt like, oh, now it's my main distributor, you know, and I'd still work with other labels and distributors here and there. But I feel like it's nice to have one company that I work with most and that is super responsive when I need them, always down to help. So it's kind of the relationship I feel like I have, and like it's an international company and it's not just based here and knows what's going on in Amsterdam. It's like way wider. So basically Kamae is really Sebastian Kamae stepping out of the background and into the foreground. And I'm in the process right now, like I wrote my new biography for Kamae. And at the end, I think it says something like, right now I'm crafting the heart and soul of my new project in the middle of Amsterdam, and I hope to surprise you as much as I surprise myself. So I am in the process of finding out what that's gonna sound like exactly, but I know it's higher tempo, it's more danceable, I'm gonna make people feel something, or like move them like literally, but also like emotionally. And I think it's a lot of sample-based stuff, a lot of live instruments, and like warm analog sound. So that's definitely a different direction already than the lo-fi stuff or the instrumental stuff or the jazz beats, you know. And I want it to be more songs. So it's like, okay, this is clearly a Kamae project or clearly a Kamae track. And when you go to my art, it's just super clear that this is all of this stuff. I'm super 100% behind it. Like there's nothing that wasn't curated or that I still doubt. So that's something I know for sure that's gonna change in my sound a little bit. If I do a production for someone else and I feel like it wouldn't fit the Kamae branding, I could put it out on Sebastian Kamae. That's totally fine. But the Kamae branding is now getting more clear and clear to me, the vision of where I want to go. So everything that fits in that realm, you know, will live there. And if not, it can live in the other realms I created, or like on the label, or like some different outlets for it. But I think that's a big one.